Well, today what I'm going to do is this. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's just a little mould with a hole in it. But actually, I want to use it for something else or in a different way than what you would normally use it for. Now, these are good sellers because bars love them, and they're shot glass holders, and you can carry your shots to your table 6 at a time rather than like spilling them all. And they're great for serving, but I don't want to use it for shots. I don't drink alcohol, although I'm surprised, being a YouTuber, I don't drink every second of the day. It's so stressful sometimes. But I want to use it for something else because I'm hoping it's going to stop me being so clumsy. I'm going to mix my resin up. I'm going to be using the T-Expert Crystal Clear Epoxy Resin 1:1. It's brilliant resin. It not only works every time, I never have a problem with it. It is at a great price. It's normally about $70 for a gallon, which is about £65, depending on the exchange rate. And I'm going to brush some chameleon powders, and I've chosen olive colour in there because I've never used that one before, so I don't know what it's going to look like. So before I do my pour, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to be using one of these little sponge makeup brushes because I just love them. They're amazing for this sort of work. They never damage your mould. They give a really good result. Now, I'm not going to have it, so I don't need it to be completely covered, but I want it to be in places. And then I may add another colour in there as well. Now, if you're having problems with this sticking to your mould, it's probably because your mould has got some grease on it from somewhere, whether it's your fingers or it's not clean. Give it a little bit of a clean up and let it dry naturally, and then you'll find that this will stick to it much better. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it some different colours, have some fun with it maybe. And as you can see, that is stuck on there really quite well. I don't mind if it's a little bit patchy, so I'm not going to stress too much about getting it completely covered. And these last for ages. I bought this pot of chameleon powders probably over a year ago, and I use them ever such a lot. As long as you don't knock them over, you seem to be alright. Go a long way. I will link them in the description below. I've probably got a discount code somewhere for Let's Resin, and if I have, I will link that down below too. Massive thank you to all the people that got me a coffee last month. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's been a couple of months of really difficult in YouTube at the moment because I've not been able to get out the videos that I wanted to get out due to personal problems. Unfortunately, I had some deaths in the family and also some really severe illness. And I had shingles. Can you believe that? Old enough for shingles. As you can see, this is going on quite nicely. I'm not going to worry about tapping any of the excess out either. I'm going to let that stay in there. So I've got my resin mixed up now, and before I go pouring that in, what I'm going to do is add some opaque pigment, and I'm going to add a white. You can add black, but I sometimes find that that makes go a little bit too dark. So I'm going to put some of that in. I'm using the Let's Resin opaque pigments. They are the only pigments now that I really use because they are so much better than the others. The quality of them is amazing. It is well worth investing that tiny bit extra and getting the Let's Resin ones. The alcohol inks, all their pigments. Oh, I sound like an advertisement for Let's Resin. Sorry. So that should be mixed in there enough now. What I'm going to do is pour a little bit down the edges. But again, not fill it right up because you all know what's coming now, who knows my channel. Because now it's time for a bit of squidgy widgy to try and remove any trap bubbles that are there. And if you overfill it, what happens is you end up getting it all over everywhere, which I've done on numerous occasions. So now let's do a bit tappy wappy. And now we can fill this right up. I can't wait to use this for what I've got it planned for. I think it's going to make a massive difference to me. Have you worked it out yet? I'm sure you have. If you've worked it out, pause the video and pop it in the comments now. And don't cheat and race to the end. Although that's probably what I would do. So that's completely full now. A lot of people have been asking me recently, do I still use my resinous curing machine? And the answer to that is yeah, I use it all the time. I use the larger one really for tumblers more, as you've seen in lots of my videos. But I do use this smaller one as well. So I'm going to pop that in there now. for 2 hours, and then I can show you fairly quickly what I'm going to be using it for and how I'm going to be using it. Well, this is all cured now. Only took 2 hours in my curing machine, so I can't wait to get this out. I think it's going to save me an awful lot of mess. And that's come out really, really pretty. I love those chameleon powders. Well, this is how you would carry your shots if you were in a bar, and you would just carry them around like that, and it saves you a lot of trouble having to try and carry them all individually. But that is not how I plan to use this at all. I plan to use it that way up. And the reason is, I'm sure you've seen me a lot of times use these shot glasses to mix up paints or resin or anything like that. So I've got different colours of resin, and I'm always putting a brush in them when I'm using paints and knocking them over, or I'm moving around and I knock them over and spill it. So this is now going to prevent that, because I can't very easily knock them over when they're sitting in here. And I think that's going to save me an awful lot of mess and an awful lot of resin and frustration as well, because it does frustrate me when I keep making a mess. I'm going to make a couple more. I'm probably going to make about 4 more, actually. So I've got 2 in here and 2 in my other room. But I really like it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I love to find a different use for a mould than what you would think it's made for. I wouldn't put it up that way, because I'm still going to knock them over. That way is perfect. Look at that. Move that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out the video I've got coming up next. I think you'll really enjoy that. That's another one where I've used a mould for something completely different than what it's meant for. Take care, but most of all, enjoy your resin. Bye.